one addition, we're going to add a presentation from Raymond James and Damian Magos right after Mr. Happy's presentation.
So you have that action item too.
Yeah. And one addition is being made to the agenda as an action item to hire a junior high cheer coach.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yes.
Motion. Deb, second. Dave. Discussion. All in favor? Okay. New project analysis update. We'll start with that, Sam.
Let's do what's left. So let's do Happy first.
Okay. Elementary principal report from Joel.
Well, good evening. I'm excited to give you an update of how the year has been going so far. I really want to celebrate all of the teachers and staff at the elementary school. They are amazing. I'm sure you know that, but with me starting my third week and really getting to know everyone, working with them, we are just blessed with a great group of people, every single one of them. And sitting down and working with them and looking at their jobs and everything that they're doing, from the custodians to our aides, our cafeteria workers, our bus drivers, our teachers, they really make my job easy. As I try to work with Jason and the steering committee and we provide direction to the staff, it's just been a really good relationship. So I've had a lot of positive comments that the year started off really smooth. And it has, mainly because of our teachers, also because we really work with a great group of students and families. They're very welcoming, they're understanding. Now we've had a little bit of hiccups, we've dealt with some discipline, but we've just found just being up front and straightforward with our parents and really trying to get down to the bottom layer of why is this discipline occurring, what can we do to help these kids out. It's been really nice. I'll give you an example, just because Mrs. Horn walked in the room. We are in a case conference, and Mrs. Horn was the teacher of service, and she was sitting in that case conference. And as we're speaking to parents, just the way that she genuinely is talking to this family, and it's not necessarily from a teacher to a parent. It was like from a community member to a community member, really trying to figure out, hey, look, what can we do to help this guy? And that was pretty impactful for me, just to sit there. So these small rural communities and schools, like honestly, I've worked in rural communities. My boys themselves grew up in rural communities. This is what makes the world go round. I just have so much admiration for them and this staff. We are moving forward with kind of a philosophy of we want to continue to move forward at a good pace. We're constantly looking at improvements in what we can do. But I've also found that there's a lot of great things already happening at that school. So we'll make some revisions. We'll kind of get some people aligned. We'll look at priority and goals. We're looking at our curriculum, instruction, assessment, basically what all needs to take place so that we're moving in the same direction. And the steering committee has been really helpful with that. So some of the things that we will start doing, data is going to be a big component as far as moving forward and really looking at where we're at. I gave you a pretty 10-page kind of slideshow, and I promise they're not going to be that lengthy as we move forward in the future. We do have a student ambassador program. I think we have 10 or 12 kids in that program run by Mrs. Wessel, our librarian. And so those students will be here in the future presenting to you along with me with those board updates, so I can get them more involved so you're just not staring at me and listening to me. But when you looked at that snapshot of our school data, there are some areas where we're doing really well. And there are some areas that we probably need to have some more discussion to figure out, okay, why did our growth not match or exceed the state average? Why did our achievement not exceed the state average? Because in this corporation, we really want to be above that state average, but we do have some grade levels that might have more special ed population of students who struggle with academics. Or it might have a handful of situations where students came to school and took a test after going through a difficult time. I mean, there are kids whose houses burned down the night before they tested, and guess what? They didn't perform very well. So we'll look at all of those things as far as and take those into consideration as we're looking at student data, and then we're going to tie those to our instructional practices, where we've already replaced some of the curriculum, or we've added some curriculum where it's missing. Like I said, Mrs. Scudder, a third grade teacher, she's working on her administrative internship. We will have a comprehensive, basically curriculum inventory done. My goal is by January, but after getting to know Mrs. Scudder, she'll probably have it done before that because she's a rock star. But that curriculum inventory is really going to outline everything that we do. We're going to look at the efficacy of all of those curriculums and the manner in which teachers are using them in each grade level. So I'll have a report for you with that curriculum assessment. And I'll probably have Mrs. Scudder with me so she can present to the board as well with that. She's pretty great. She wants to be involved, and she's already been extremely helpful to me as I moved into this position. Our grade level teams, they're working on routines, consistency. We have teachers who have jumped into teaching core curriculum almost right off the bat. I try to be in classrooms as often as I can having those discussions because I need to meet our teachers where we're at. So I'm learning a lot about them, their approach to getting the school started, and that's where sometimes I interject, sometimes I lead, and sometimes I sit back and I let them lead me because we, again, have pretty awesome people. One thing that I will note, I think this is a really neat thing. So I have all of the teachers and staff sign a commitment to say, these are our core standards, this is our professional behavior, this is what we're going to do as we work together to support our efforts to get better. And so it's a document, it's pretty lengthy, and then at the end, it's a Google Doc, and everyone can edit it, and they type their name at the very bottom so that they're committing to following these practices that I've kind of put in place. I didn't know it, but our 6th grade team, they lead our students through developing their own mission. And I've never been anywhere where a grade level classroom teachers created a mission with their kids. And I'm sure that has to do with core values, who they are, what the teachers expect, and what the kids expect from themselves or of each other. And so as I sat there, that was pretty impactful to me as well, because that would not have come from me to sit down and say, hey, you need to create a vision. That was already in place and in practice here with the teachers in the school. But I'm finding a lot of really cool things taking place throughout pre-K all the way up to 6th grade. I just think we're continuing to make some adjustments and alignments. For example, we're really looking at our high ability program moving forward. We have 2 amazing teachers who receive stipends to run our high ability. We're looking at a school newspaper. We're looking at a science fair, and then we're looking at some other activities that we can implement for our kids. Megan Wessel has implemented a school-wide reading program. Keep in mind, this is the beginning of the 3rd week of school. So we have a school-wide reading program back in, and I think we're calling it the Soaring Eagles, but I'll get more information out for you. So at the end of every week, you'll see my weekly recap, and then you'll see my look ahead for the next week. Also, I believe I shared the calendar, the school events calendar. You're going to see a comprehensive listing of everything all the way through preschool and kindergarten graduation, which happens to take place on the same day. So hopefully you can show up for that as well. It's the Soaring Readers, not the Eagles. I apologize. Probably next year we will be looking at becoming a STEM certified school. That's a 2-year process, but there's a lot of things involved with that. And one thing I will not do is I don't want to throw too much on the plates of our teachers as we're moving forward this year. I really want them to see what we're doing, see the merit in it, get the buy-in, because what we do now, I want it to be really good, and I want people to feel great about it. Another thing that we will need to do is we need to really look at our school-wide discipline management plan and really talk with, okay, what's our primary doing, what's our intermediate doing, and our teachers are going to basically lead me through that. I have a lot of connections and networks and resources that I'm going to rely on as well, But it doesn't mean just because it's working in some other place, it's going to be great for Jac-Cen-Del Elementary. That's where I have to rely on our teachers and that steering committee team to move forward. We are starting to look at professional learning communities. That's where grade level teachers, departments work together, and they really look at effective planning, looking at data, figuring out, moving forward, what are some of the things we can do to really help our kids in each of the areas. And there's a framework for our professional learning communities that I'll first roll out with my steering committee and then get that feedback before I push it out to the rest of the staff. 90% of the time, that's pretty much how I operate. I get my steering committee to help give me guidance, and then we make some adjustments and have discussions, and that's when we move it out to the staff. But very rarely, I don't want to shove things down people's throats. Like I always said, I want to do things with people. I don't want to do things to them, because that's not received very well. And then, let's see, school-wide events and maybe communications, marketing. Kara, our IT assistant, is a wonderful lady, and she will take on the world. One thing she's going to take on is a marketing initiative that we're going to move forward with. So we will start to do some promotional videos, maybe start off with our preschool programming, look at some of the school events, some of the things that we really feel good about, and really getting those out to our communities by connecting our social media sites, creating iVideos, iMovies on our Apple or MacBooks, and then we might even create a YouTube channel where all these videos can get pushed out to, and then we will bombard our communities and get all the great things that we're doing at Jac-Cen-Del Elementary out there, because not that I want our school to have 2,000 kids, but I want to make sure that the way we're viewed in a good light and accurately by getting all of this out there. So we'll work together on that moving forward, but I'm kind of excited about that. And just moving forward, I'm excited to see what the next month brings. But you have the 10-page slideshow. You also have a shortened version of that, and then I just gave you a shortened version of what I just gave you as I'm learning these presentations. I don't want to be too long-winded with them, but it's been a great start. I really appreciate being here, and we have some amazing people doing some really great work at that elementary school. Any questions that I can answer?
A lot of your stuff is great.
Nice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, want to go with Mr. Raymond James?
Yep. All right. Amy, you're up. You have something to say, or?
Okay, I didn't know if where we are in the process. The building corporation met earlier,
Right.
so we're proceeding with the process of doing a bond issue. And I just wanted to, a quick update. I think Mr. Melton has shared with you several of the options over the past few months and whatnot. But what has changed is the debt service schedule and the term. I think since the last update, we have now received the 27 certified net value and another increase again. And so this, just real quick analysis or update, just kind of reflects the new assessed value. And so we're looking, the bond issue has not changed, $4,780,000. No more than 120-some thousand of cost of issuance, and then the balance, 4.6 million or so for projects that you are working on and have identified and are continuing to identify. Next page. Okay, so this shows the debt service budget. The gray is the existing debt. The red would be the anticipated payments. So if we did an issue here in 26, by the end of the year, we're able to think I had looked at a 20-year financing, but because of the assessed value, we're able to close that, shut that down, reduce it to about a 17. So that's essentially the change. And then on the next page, we're looking at a 5-cent, a net 5-cent increase in the debt service fund tax rate. You can see, so smaller payments, and then there's a drop off between 29 and 30, and then again between 40 and 41. And so we structured, or looking at structuring the debt service payments, so where we do have these kind of troughs that would allow administration in the future, et cetera, the ability to maybe tackle another project or some more short-term borrowing or whatnot. We've done a lot of work over the last few years. I think facility-wise with this last round should pretty much take care of a lot of needs for quite some time. And then at the end, when you kind of tie everything together, the last page. Okay. So on your last page, so we have the existing, the new, and then the operation fund. The rate for 27 increases up to 95 cents. And so I had 2024, 25, 26. The overall rate has kind of fluctuated around 90, 95 cents. We're trying to keep that, the overall rate about the same. So, so what this would do is 27, 28, 29, the overall rate to about 95 cents. And then again, you can see the little drop off, something that we're going to allow the ability for future projects. So a couple of things. Debt service rate, even though it does go up, we're going to keep it under 40 cents. And the overall, we're going to try to keep it at the historic level of around 95 or so. So we've had positive growth in the assessed value. And so given the information that we have, I have not made any assumptions for growth going forward. Okay, so if the trend continues, this could be a maximum. We could actually see growth again. Or Senate Bill 1, and you've heard enough about Senate Bill 1. It's kind of the elephant. Who knows what that is going to bring. However, we're in the second year of Senate Bill 1, and there have been some firms that have go out and are able to do these forecasting and have all said that we're going to have increases. Your APs are going to, and we've had increases. So I think the best thing is there's also talk this fall you'll get updates. There are going to be changes next week. There has been enough backlash that it's going to get addressed. It wasn't addressed. This was the short session next year. So to what extent, who knows? And so that's kind of the unknown out there. But given all the information that we have as of now, 95 cents, 40 cents for the and generating about 4.7
And tell me if I'm wrong, Damien, but just tonight, like I know he mentioned like a 5-cent increase. Really, over what happened over the last couple of years, we were about at that 40 cents when we first did this. And then with growth, that starts to tick down on us. So really, we're trying to keep it where we were at, not an increase. There shouldn't be anything for anyone out there. I know it says a 5-cent increase, but we're just getting it back up to the old level, trying to maintain. And then as growth happens, this thing could go, or if it goes the opposite way. But
yeah, so it's going to be like a year. The other thing on this, so yeah, I grew the operation fund by 6%. Sport, it had been somewhere plus or minus 5-6%. But we have taken it 4% growth over the last 3 or 4 years. So this, the 27 overall rate has your operation fund revenue increasing from 6% by 6%
appreciates attendance at our meetings and is interested in what our patrons have to say. At this time, we are opening the floor for comments. If you have any you would like to share with us regarding the action items, please stand and be recognized under the board policy PO 0167.3. You will have 3 minutes to state your comments. No one? Okay. Action items is recommended the board approve the minutes of the July 20, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Motion. Mike, second was Deb. Discussion. All in favor? 5. It's recommended the board approve payroll and other claims for the August 2026. Motion. Dan, second. Deb, discussion. All in favor? 5. It's recommended the board approve the resolution regarding the proposed Fifth Amendment to lease and insurance of one or more series of first mortgage bonds by the Jac-Cen-Del Community School Building Corporation. Motion. Deb, second. Tiffany, discussion.
This is just what we kind of talked about. We met with the building corporation before this to talk to them. They were fine, signed off on the first step, so.
Any other? All in favor? 5. It is recommended the board approve the high school and elementary ECA treasurer report for attached documents. A motion. Dan, second was Tiffany. Discussion. All in favor? 5. It is recommended the board approve the resolution to purchase real estate located at 705 North Buckeye Street, Osgood, Indiana. Motion. Mike, second was Tiff. Discussion.
So, this came about pretty quick as far as an opportunity to purchase the car wash next to the central office. So, after talking about some of the needs that we do have for the district, it made more sense to go ahead and purchase that. We wanted to add on our meeting place and get a cheaper option. So that process is underway. They've accepted the offer. In fact, we plan on closing tomorrow is the plan. So, yeah, everything went really well there, and I think it'll be a good thing for the district to have.
All right. All in favor? 5. It is recommended the board approve the extracurricular assignments and stipends for the 2026-2027 school year for attached documents. Motion. Dan, second. Mike, discussion. All in favor? 5. It is recommended the board approve the hire of Katie Fisher as elementary cook assistant as of August 6, 2026 for classified staff pay and benefits. Motion. Deb, second. Dan, discussion on Katie. No? All in favor? 5. It is recommended the board approve paternity leave for Kayla Bowling commencing approximately September the 18th, 2026 and continuing for approximately 6 weeks thereafter. Motion. Deb, second. Is that Mike? master contract stipend. Motion, Dan, second. Tiffany, discussion. All in favor? 5. It is recommended the board approve the appointment of Bob Grable as volunteer for the middle school soccer program. Motion. Deb, second. Mike, discussion. All in favor? 5. Some informational, the old policy, first reading of the artificial intelligence special update and volume 38, number 2, as presented in the policy overview. Fifth Amendment lease agreement between Jac-Cen-Del School Building Corporation and Jac-Cen-Del Community School Corporation, Ripley County, Indiana. Amanda Goss resigned as custodian as of August the 5th, 2026. Rachel Dickegaard, resignation as a junior high cheer coach. With that, we'll move to superintendent's report.
Okay, just a few things tonight. As we're talking about some of the bonding process, and there's some needs that I know I've mentioned probably before, but some things coming up that we just met with the facilities committee and talked about an HVAC project that's going to happen at the elementary school that they're getting some quotes now, and we'll start to work through that process. Definitely some needs there. We've got an issue with there's a grinder pump system out behind the high school that was already on the list of things. With the rain that we had, I mean, luckily we had some good maintenance guys out there to make sure it's working, because it was getting close to where we didn't know if we were going to have to cancel school that day just because it was backing up. They got it working, got it kind of pumped down, but that's another thing on the list. So there's some things that some more immediate needs that we're going to start to look at, but also part of these projects to make sure that we get things done that we were going to need to. Which brings up the weather. It's been a little crazy time with all the rain, and the staff, the bus drivers, everyone was fantastic when it came to dealing with roads and students and things like that. So I know there's some communities that were hit a lot harder than we were, and are still. Fayette County hasn't even got to school yet, so we wish them, pray for them and hope things go well, but we're trying to watch kind of what some things that we had here, what do we need to kind of watch out for in the future as far as, with grinder pumps or with things like that. And so I want to give a big thanks to everyone who put in a lot of time and effort there. It worked out well for us, and so that was good. And this kind of leads into that. We switched to Power School as far as our student management system, and so one of the things that I'm doing an analysis on right now is to make sure that like those messages that I was sending out are getting out to everyone that it needs to go out to, because that integration was taking place just before all this happened. So I think from what I've heard, I think most of the staff members were good. Trying to check on parents, I'm looking at the list to make sure everything's there. So you may see some information come out just to make sure that everyone's getting the information they need to get. So we want to make sure we don't miss anybody on critical information. And then finally, hopefully maybe it's next month, but I'm working on the calendar for next year. There's a survey that's going to go out to the staff here pretty soon to look at some options, just to get some input. And but as we talked about before, we look at the Career Center, Ivy Tech. There's a lot of things that go into it, and we have to get those many days in. So. But I want to get that out to the parents as quick as possible. That way they can start to plan for 27, 28. So, that's it.
One question for you, Sam. Is that grinder pump, I'm familiar with it a little bit, so back here helping with myself before. Is there one or two of them?
There's two.
Okay, I thought there was two.
Yeah, and we're looking at the whole system. And
it was down in there.
Yeah, and there's some kind of metal, like a rod, something that I think will move on. That's rusting. The whole thing needs to get it addressed. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was two, so I was back here one night, so that's all I got for you. So, board member comments. Of course, we always thank the staff, get things rolling and going from, like I said, the cafeteria, bus drivers on up. Mike had got a hold of me and told me that him and Debbie had a grounds meeting, and he told me on what was going on, so I thought that was excellent. You guys went out, got another one. So if we get another one before the year, fine. If not, fine. You guys have done a good job there. And then Dan said, no, you guys have done one in the past. You guys want to do one
Joel for his presentation. Seems like there's a lot of good stuff already going on and more great stuff coming, so.
All right. So our next meeting, the next regular meeting for the Jac-Cen-Del School Board of Trustees will be held on Monday, September 21st,